This is so great. Buzz. What in the hell are you watching? Mega Man X4 cutscene is the English dub. Oh my god, this acting is so bad. Like, god damn, I think it's worse than Symphony of the Night. Yeah, I think it's a top contender. But is it worse than X7? No. Ooh, man titties! Blue Toad. Yes, Buzz. We'll see that. Fine. Anyways, we gotta review Mega Man 02. You ready, dog? Go get the game in the handheld. Alright, dog. Aw. It's having fun and everything. Alright, Buzz. You ready to review Mega Man 02? Oh yeah, Blue Toad. Put it in the Game Boy Advance. Alright. Let's just say real quick how much I hate this logo. Look at this. It's something that you can make. It's something you can make out of Microsoft Paint. Anyways, into the Game Boy Advance you go. 1 year has passed since the events of Mega Man Zero. Zero's been fighting wave after wave of X-Bots. Zero's been fighting Neo-Arcadian soldiers for so long that fighting loses all meaning to him. So to find his purpose in life, he must find Seal and the Resistance soldiers. As the sand dissipates away, he realizes he's being tailed by X-Bots. Zero removes his cloak and powers through the wave of Neo-Arcadian soldiers. By the way, Zero's UI is the same as 01, but is severely damaged due to Zero fighting hordes of Neo-Arcadian soldiers for a year, which is a nice touch. After Zero defeats Mega Scorpio, he collapses with Harpuia, who is now the leader of Neo-Arcadia after covering up the death of Copy X, decides to save Zero and brings him to the new Resistance base. During Zero's disappearance, the Resistance gained enough resources to relocate and rebuild themselves. The Resistance is now led by a reploid named Eplizo, who led them out of their last base when the Neo-Arcadians attacked them. Seal informs Zero about the energy shortage, which is the reason behind Copy X's mass genocide in the last game. Seal also shows Zero how current research to fix the energy shortage by using a baby elf, which is a special kind of cyber elf that I'll talk about in a bit. However, Eplizo believes Neo-Arcadia will take her research by force, which is why Eplizo is commanding Operation Righteous Strike because he believes Neo-Arcadia's forces will be drastically weakened after Copy X's death. Before he can begin his assault, he sends Zero to do a handful of missions for them. After Zero retrieves the second baby elf, X pops up and tells Zero that after the end of the Elf Wars, the mother of all cyber elves, went rogue and was labeled as the Dark Elf. X uses his body to silhouette the Dark Elf, which is why he's a cyber elf now. X also tells Zero that the baby elves will do anything to reunite with their mother, which also includes twisting the minds of humans to get them what they want. After Zero clears the fourth mission, Eplizo begins his assault against Neo-Arcadia. Right before he begins his assault, Seal and Servo tell Eplizo to think about the casualties if he launches an all-out attack against Neo-Arcadia and to give Seal enough time to finish her research. Eplizo tells him it's nothing more than a sweet illusion and orders all troops to open fire as he joins them. Servo sends Zero to check on Eplizo and the Resistance soldiers just in case if anything goes wrong. When Zero gets there, he sees corpses of the entire crew as he goes deeper through the stage. After Zero defeats the 3 elemental golems, he meets the Guardians. They inform Zero that they slaughtered the Resistance soldiers and that they sent an aircraft with a special bomb to their base. After Zero hears this, he and Seal head to the aircraft to disarm the bomb. While they were doing that, Eplizo steals the baby elves and leaves the base a message. In the message, Eplizo feels shameful for letting his crew get slaughtered, so Eplizo decides he wants to gain the ultimate power by awakening the Dark Elf to destroy Neo-Arcadia and to become a hero. Zero goes off to find Eplizo and stop him before he gets to the core of Neo-Arcadia, which is where the Dark Elf seal is. On the way there, Zero once again fights the Guardians. After Zero clears the last mission, Eplizo tells Zero he's in the core of Neo-Arcadia where the Dark Elf is. X tries to stop Eplizo, but he's powerless because he's using his body to hold the seal. Afterwards, X begs Zero to go to Neo-Arcadia and stop Eplizo before he awakens the Dark Elf. Zero makes his way through Neo-Arcadia to stop Eplizo. On the way there, Zero encounters the Guardians again, but this time the Guardians use their armed phenomenon forms against him. Except Harpuia, who unwillingly uses his after temporarily absorbing the baby elves. After Zero defeats the Guardians, he makes his way through the boss rush. During the boss rush, the bosses say Master Eplizo / Master Dark Elf and the history is in motion. When you kill them, it turns out they were manipulated by the Dark Elf, and spoiler alert, that shit isn't getting old anytime soon. After Zero clears the boss rush, he reaches the Dark Elf's chamber. Unfortunately for him, Eplizo beat him to it. Eplizo stops Zero and forces him to watch as he destroys X and releases the Dark Elf. The Dark Elf powers up Eplizo and the two fight. Before they fight, Eplizo says, "What do you say? A world without humans, a world only for reploids. Don't you think it'll be paradise?" I'm pretty sure that line reminded Zero of Iris, which probably pissed him off even more. After Zero defeats Eplizo, Eplizo apologizes for his actions and accepts death. The Dark Elf's curse breaks for a second and turns Eplizo into a cyber elf. Afterwards, her curse returns and Eplizo departs to places unknown. The Dark Elf calls Zero's name and flies away. X pops up and tells Zero she used to have another name before a man called Dr. Weil, or Dr. Vile, placed a curse on her and became the Dark Elf. Zero tells X she feels familiar and watches the Dark Elf fly away. After the credits, a mysterious voice is telling Omega that the Dark Elf has been awakened and that it's time to take action. Overall, Mega Man 02's story is miles better than Mega Man 01. I'm not saying 01's story is bad by any means, I'm just saying 02 is a massive improvement compared to 01. For starters, you don't need to read or watch outside material to know key information. The entire story is in the game with all the information you need. Another great thing about Zero 2's story is the characters, such as the Guardians having more respect for Zero because he's the only one that defeats them on a regular basis. They respect him enough to save him in the opening instead of killing him. As for Eplizo, he's a great antagonist. At the beginning of the game, he's a calm and delusional commander. I say delusional because he doesn't really listen to anyone's advice to call off the assault and wait for Seal to finish her research. After the assault, he feels ashamed of himself for being too weak and wants to gain power. In the second half of the game, Eplizo becomes a psychopath who's desperate for power. His boss team, Supreme Ruler, represents this and shows how badly the need for power can affect someone. After Zero defeats him, he apologizes for his actions and reflects on everything he's done. After Copy X and Eplizo, I cannot wait for Mega Man 03. By the way, am I the only one that thought Eplizo was a girl when I first saw him? I can't be the only one that thought Eplizo was a chick, right? Anyways, the writing and dialogue are as good as Mega Man 01. With the story out of the way, let's get into the titles of the game. The title of the game is Mega Man 02, while in Japan it's Rockman 02. With the titles out of the way, let's get into the game. Like its predecessor, Mega Man 02 is a fast-paced platformer with hack and slash gameplay. Also like the last game, all of Zero's weapons from the first game return except for the triple rod. Instead of triple rod, we have the chain rod. You can use it on grapple points to swing across large gaps. However, you can also use it on ceilings and walls to grab items or to avoid enemies. The chain rod is also a great long-range weapon to take care of enemies from a distance. When a chain rod reaches level 2, you can charge it for a spin attack. It isn't very useful, but it does look cool. More on that in a second. They also brought the shield boomerang back, which is about as useless as before. Seriously, what the hell is this weapon good for? The only time I ever use it is in the middle stage to protect Steel from projectiles, and that's it. A massive improvement from 01 is how 02 handles his weapons. Like 01, you get the chain rod and a shield boomerang from Servo, but they're required before you enter your first mission. Another improvement from 01 is the star system. In 02, your weapons don't have as many levels, and the requirements aren't nearly as high as 01, which means you don't have to grind enemies for hours upon hours just to survive the early game bosses. 02 also removes the retry chests from the first game and replaces them with the live system we had a classic Mega Man and the extras, which means missions won't be considered a failure and you won't lose a chance to get the Cyber Elves in that stage. Speaking of which, the Cyber Elves for Mega Man 01 has returned with a few changes. For starters, the amount of energy crystals they need has been drastically reduced. The health upgrade Cyber Elves only need 250, while the sub-tank Cyber Elves only need 400. By the way, you can find 2 sub-tanks in the stages, which are hidden in clever and fun chain rod puzzles. Secondly, they also give you more energy crystals and enemies drop them more often. The big ones are worth 20 instead of 16. With the Cyber Elves out of the way, it's finally time to talk about the stages and the level design. The stages in Mega Man 02 are fun and memorable, with great set pieces and fun enemies. Such as the second half of the middle stage where you have to time your jumps across the airships, or the ice facilities where you have to jump across ice glaciers to time your dash jumps across spikes and enemies. Or the lava factories where you have to avoid lava buckets, jump across crumbling platforms, and hide behind lava buckets to avoid projectiles. The only stages I hate are the sections where you have to hit talibans in a specific angle in order to destroy the walls or spikes in order to progress. It's not fun or challenging, it's boring as hell, and it slows the pace of a few stages. While on the topic of stages, the stages aren't interconnected with each other anymore. We're back to the stage select system from Mega Man 7. As for the bosses, they're fine. Some of them are extremely easy, like the Rainbow Devil or Eplizo's second form, because their attacks are really easy to dodge, while some of them are fun and challenging, like Harpuia and Phoenix Magnon. If you want to break the boss, you can use the returning elemental chips to do so. Mega Man 02 also has a ranking system. 01 had a ranking system, but in that game it didn't mean anything but has an extra Cyber Elf and bragging rights. In 02, if you beat a boss with an aim rank or higher, you attain their ES skills, such as the uppercut or saber slash projectile. Mega Man 02 also has forms. You unlock them by doing specific requirements, like collecting a specific number of health pickers to unlock the energy form, or by killing 50 enemies with a buster to unlock the X form. As for the difficulty, Mega Man 02 is in the medium range. This game is only difficult if you beat it without using Cyber Elves, which I did on my first playthrough because I didn't know how to use Cyber Elves, which means I had to beat the game with base health. As for the soundtrack, it's one of the best Mega Man soundtracks in the entire franchise. My favorites are Departure, Crush 2, Resistance Force, Icebrain, Neo Arcadia 2, Combustion, Silver Wolf, Awakening Will, and Supreme Ruler. Supreme Ruler is hands down the best boss theme in the entire franchise. It's so fucking good, you have to listen to it for yourself. Overall, Mega Man 02 is a masterpiece with a kick-ass soundtrack, great stages, fun weapons, a great story, and good bosses. The rating is a 9.7 out of 10. I'll see y'all next time with the fan favorite of the Zero series, Mega Man 03 for the Game Boy Advance. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Anyways, peace out. We hope y'all enjoyed the review. The next video will be on Mega Man 03, the fan favorite of the Mega Man 0 series. By the way, the next video will be Mega Man 0 Drama Track, something we didn't bring attention to in the first review and this review. So, that's something you can look forward to. Anyways, peace out.